First Age. In the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood, burned by the embers of Armageddon, his soul blistered by the fires of hell, and tainted beyond ascension. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. He wore the crown of the Night Sentinels, and those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doom Slayer.
That's right, true believers, it's time to talk about one of the best and most influential franchises there is. Doom! Now, before 2016 was the glory-killing, blood-spilling, demon-slaying game that it is, its early prototype looked a little bit more like a COD-style game. In fact, its codename was even Call of Doom. This, like 3, was a completely different style of game to the previous two, which were a lot more fast-paced demon-killing action. Now, the devs at id that were making Call of Doom just really weren't vibing with the Doom 4's style, and so they approached Bethesda and asked, hey guys, can we, restart? And after Bethesda dropped its massive pile of money and somehow was hit in the back of the head with the sense hammer, they realized that maybe that's a good idea. So they greenlit the restart. Hello there, true believers and subscribers. I'm here on Mars. Suck it, Elon. Anyway, now that I'm here, if you're new to watching this video, which you probably are, you should probably subscribe. I'm desperate to climb to 500 subscribers within this month. So if you could help me to get there, that would be absolutely wonderful. We stream on Sundays and also put out videos every other Friday. This is a long video, so it's taken a while to get out, but I hope you stick around and enjoy it. But if you do like and enjoy it, like and subscribe. Anyway, really quick sub count gone. Well, after those months of development hell with Doom 4, id had the green light to go ahead and create the new version of Doom that they wanted to make. And from this, the game twisted into its beautiful splatterfest that we have today. Do I think that Doom 4 could have been one of the next best Doom games? No, it was very trend-chasey and seemed to be COD-inspired. We have a lot of leaked footage, and I just don't see this game being as good as Doom 2016. But the game we have today really does fit that early franchise a hell of a lot more. Though that's not to say it isn't toned down compared to what came after. So let's finally delve into one of the greatest revivals of a shooter franchise ever. The Doom guy wakes up in his sarcophagus, and above you see the Slayer logo. This is a logo that will become much more important as time goes on, especially in the next game. However, for this one, it's not super important. Looking away from that, the Doom guy absolutely fucking mulches a zombie that's next to him, straight into the side of his sarcophagus. And it's here that we finally get to play some gameplay. This enemy in front of you is the Possessed. It is the basic zombie enemy of the game. It is your free glory kill and your ammo repository. Bust these guys head open when you're a little low. It takes very little ammo to put these guys down. In fact, 2 punches will do it for a free glory kill. After beating the shit out of the 3 zombies that are left in the room with your basic pistol, you make your way over to one of the most beautiful items in video game history, the Praetor suit. This thing is gorgeous. A sleek green upgrade to Doomguy's old blocky armor. This thing is absolutely beautiful, and we see it again in the next game, even more upgraded and resembling closer the classic costume. I absolutely love the look of the Praetor suit. In fact, I own the helmet.
It's cool as fuck!
It's very nice, and I absolutely love this thing, but Samuel Hayden has some words to say about us towards the story of this game.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Samuel Hayden. I'm the head of this facility. I think we can work together and resolve this problem in a way that benefits us both.
Hayden tries to convince us to go along with this game's main story, but the Doomslayer says, fuck that, we're not doing any of that, and pushes the monitor to the side, and we charge through to the next room, where we find the combat shotgun, on a corpse no less. We pick it up and we'll be using this weapon throughout the rest of the game to absolutely smash in a majority of monster skulls. In fact, this is the weapon that I used the most throughout the game, seconded only by the super shotgun. This is an issue with this game's weapons in particular, that being that they're just not exactly super useful, and usually you can stick to the super shotgun, but in Eternal this is remedied by having monsters have weak points that are specific to certain weapons. The combat shotgun itself is still a tremendous weapon. I do love using it. This game really has a handle on its weapons to the point where they feel so incredible to use that playing another game shortly after it that has gunplay just doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't feel quite as punchy and guttural as it does in this game. Something that, to its credit, this game really nails hard on the head. If anything, the combat that you'll be doing most repetitively is the most enjoyable part of the game, and that's all thanks to these weapons and their design. Charge through to the next room, where we meet the Imp. The Imp is a small, very fast, and very annoying little bugger that likes to chuck fireballs straight at your head whenever you are mid-dodge. Well, actually, while we're here and I'm on the surface of Phobos, let's talk about some of the game's demons. First, we have the zombie gunner enemies. These come in shield, shotgun, and rifle flavor. The Imps, as you just saw, and the classic poster boy of the Doom franchise, the Caco Demon. These guys have had a pretty big refresh from their original design, but they do look really cool. I think their version in this game is better than in Eternals, but we will talk to that when we get to Eternal. The Mancubus and its gamer friend, the Cyber Mancubus. Look at that guy's cool VR headset. The Hell Knights that want nothing more than to pulverize you into the ground Hulk style. Now, these guys are actually based off of their Doom 3 design for Doom 4, but oddly enough, they used to look like this in the original, like the Baron of Hell. The Baron of Hell, who is big, cool, and really fucking sweet to see, still shoots his green energy and is a fun fucking creature to fight. He goes down with 3 Gauss cannon shots, but he is really cool and quite intimidating when you first meet him. Next up is the Lost Soul, an annoying little bastard who has claimed more deaths this run than I'd like to admit. These little fuckers fly at you from out of nowhere and explode on impact. Next is the Summoner, who, like a falcon locking onto its prey, I kill as swiftly as possible every time I fucking see it. She is a very similar monster to the Archvile from Doom 2, with a new lick of argenty paint. The French bulldog of my nightmares, the Pinky, and its evil bastard brother, the Spectre. These guys are invisible. The Pinky is pink and they will charge at you from any angle and then slam into a wall. If they don't slam into a wall, they'll just stop in place. You can only harm them on this little spot on their ass because they're fully armoured and they are my fucking nightmare. I hate these little bastards. These little fuckers like to nail me when I'm just about to clear a room, really wiping off that last little bit of health. Fucking hate them! Next up is the Revenant. These guys look cool as fuck. They aren't really designed like the original version of the Revenant. In fact, these guys have the biggest change from their original form overall. These guys are more skeletal, and they also have huge rockets. They're also the poster boy for this game's marketing. They look really cool, and along with the Cyber Demon, who we will see later on, and I will cover later as we get to him, these guys were really everywhere throughout this game's marketing, so it's really cool to see them. In fact, they even got a DLC pack for the second version of the game, Doom Eternal, which, the Doot skin, but they become pretty popular. It's interesting to see them. They're almost in every level, in fact, and they are very cool. Now, you might be thinking, Finn from SDA, there are so many demons. How do you fight so many demons in this game? Well, there are 2 ways. This game is an arena shooter, so usually once you enter an arena, they will summon in and fucking go for you. Or the second way, which is this lovely little orb of fleshy goodness, which is the Gore Nest. Now, a lot of missions in the early game revolve around you finding a Gore Nest and destroying a Gore Nest and its waves of monsters. This Gore Nest here, in fact, is the first one you'll encounter, so to activate it, all you gotta do is walk up, press R3, and the Doom guy will pull out this weird little orb thing, and then the room will fill with demon scum.
Demonic presence at unsafe level.
Anyway, after fighting through this room, we enter an elevator where Samuel Hayden contacts us once more, and we get possibly the coolest title drop of any video game I've ever played.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
And with that, we now find ourselves on our way to the UAC facility, where like the rest of the game we have to destroy demon scum.
I believe in honesty, especially now. In what will be your final moment?
Fighting through the UAC, we reach the Foundry. Now, the Foundry is a giant, sprawling and very beautiful level. You start off in this lovely fiery pit room and run through it. But first we need to find a little key item that is in every single Doom game, but here it becomes even more important. These are the key cards. They come in a few different forms, such as keycard and also skull form, but they are banana, blue raspberry, and strawberry flavoured. We will use these throughout the majority of the game in order to get into many locked areas. They are also the way that the progression is blocked off in certain areas due to you needing to find a keycard in many different facilities. This becomes less of a thing in Eternal, but here in 2016 it is classic Doom, so we have to find the yellow, red and blue for certain areas. Here in the facility we find the yellow and the blue keycard to progress, which I don't mind and is actually pretty fun. It allows us to get a lot more demon kills in and also just appreciate the map that we're in, and it also makes the level design a lot more vertical. It gives us a lot of cool stuff, especially here in the Foundry, so it's really cool to see the keycards return, and I think it is a necessary part of the Doom gameplay loop. Having to find the keycards to then progress really does make it feel like you're doing a lot more than you actually are in these small levels, but this does hamper the game a little bit later on, especially in the Candia Sanctum sections, because you are searching for these skulls and it's not always completely like noticeable where you need to go to get them. But enough of that, let's get back to the Foundry level. After being introduced to the keycards, you are then reintroduced to the Gorness, of which you need to find 4 of and destroy. After doing this and finishing the final arena, you enter this chamber where you get to meet the bitch of all bitches, Olivia Pierce.
Authorization: Olivia Pierce. Alpha 402.
She has locked me out, Dr. Hayden.
This woman here wants to fuck over all of humanity. And how does she want to do that? Well, she, with the instruction of a demonic voice,
She is trying to tear open the portal between our world and theirs.
using Argent Energy. This is for her sweet, sweet reward that has been promised to her by the King of Hell, who we actually don't know who he is, as in the game he's just called the Demonic Voice. But anyway, she decides to fuck with the power settings, as seen here.
The system won't allow anyone but Olivia to override it now. We will have to shut down the Argent Tower manually from the surface.
This causes a large influx of Argent Energy, which is a renewable hell energy actually, and Samuel Hayden tells us a lot more about it in the next level. Here in the Argent facility, the world is gorgeous. I mean, get a look at this background, it is wonderful. In fact, this was a PS4 theme as well. And I just wanted to mention that it doesn't actually have any holding on the game's story, it's just really cool to notice. I did have it as my PS4 background, of course, I did. But yeah, we get to see this gorgeous Argent Tower, which is flowing with Argent Energy. And it's here that we are introduced to our first rune trial. These are little trials dotted around the game that will allow you to get certain extra upgrades and buffs to the Doomslayer. I mainly use Vacuum and the Glory Kill one a little bit later in the game. You'll see me switching around here or there But yeah, they're pretty interesting. Here's the first challenge. It's not all that difficult. Some of them do get difficult towards the end of the game, but they are just there for little upgrade items and are entirely up to you if you want to do them. As well as this, we also find that there are classic maps in the game. I don't have many of these, and so I don't have a lot of gameplay for them, mainly because I don't really like going out and searching for them, but there are tons of secrets in this game, even the little Doom Guy figures that you can pick up, which there are a lot of in this game. Back to the level, we roam around and search up and down the Argent facility for some gore nests, and after you've popped those gore nests, Samuel Hayden comes back on the mic to tell you to disable the Argent filters. Now, as he explains, the Argent filters are very delicate pieces of machinery, so we should be really careful. Or we could just do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's smash them all! Continuing our way through the Argent facility, we fucking pulverize 3 filters. Now, in this level, we pick up a few key items. Number 1 is the chainsaw, which is your item of use to get back your ammo. So, in order to get back ammo, you will chainsaw down an enemy and they will drop a massive pool of ammo. Certain monsters take larger resources of fuel to destroy, and that affects how you can use it and when you can use it and what important monsters you should save the chainsaw for most of the game. The next weapon that we get in this level is the rocket launcher, which instantly becomes one of the best items in your arsenal for dealing with Hell Knights and other large monsters. It is a very cool tool, and you get a little pickup thing every time you pick up one of these weapons, so that's pretty neat. After smashing all of the filters, we reach the final room containing the last filter with a gorgeous view of the Argent Tower. It is here that we are warned by Samuel Hayden that destroying this will remove Argent energy from the solar system, and the Doom Guy makes a very, very important choice.
If stopping our energy production is what you want, then you need only to destroy this last filter, and Argent energy will no longer exist in this solar system. We will be back at square one. You have no idea what you have just done.
After smashing and removing the vial from the last Argent filter, we see the Argent Tower start to overflow with hell energy. Vega then alerts us that Dr. Pierce has removed something in the Argent Tower that will allow us to track her. So we now know that this is where we must go.
Olivia is still alive. I've detected her life signature at the Argent Tower. She has removed one of the accumulators from the tower base. It has a unique energy signature that we can track.
With this, our mission is clear. We now must fight our way to the top of the Argent Tower to kill Olivia Pierce. On the way, we get to see a lot of really nice rooms in here. This is a very beautiful level, and the arenas here start to get a little bit drab. But beating our way all the way to the top is not that difficult of a challenge, but this challenge is mitigated by the fact that we have a pretty big arsenal already at this point in the game, and all we really need to do is climb these beautiful rooms and destroy all of these monsters and get to the very top of the Argent Tower, which, it's a fun challenge. It's a decent part of the game, but it's here where you sort of get the monotony of the arena rooms, because we're only about a quarter of the way through the game, and we are already being slammed in arenas this early on, and that is one of the flaws of 2016, is that the arena shooter style does get a little bit boring after a while. But hey ho, what can you really do about it? Let's find our way to the top of the Argent Tower and stop Olivia Pierce. Once making it to the top, we find Olivia, holding the device that she's pulled out of the Argent Tower. And just when you thought she was going to come easily, that bitch blows herself up and launches herself into hell. So now we have to follow suit. Let's destroy all of these monsters and make our own way down to hell. After fighting our way through the forces at the top of the Argent Tower, we are slung into hell, specifically the Kangnir Sanctum. The 5th level of the game. It's a pretty fun one, there's a lot to do here, but mostly the scenery here is very nice. We fight our way through more hordes of demons, we get introduced to new ones and old ones alike. Fighting our way through, the important piece here is that we must get back to the Argent facility. But in order to do this, we need to find an old UAC portal set up by Samuel Hayden. In fact, we get to see quite a lot of the Doom Guy's lore in this level, especially this weird connection that Samuel seems to have to the Doom Guy, which won't be explained until the second entry of this series. It's really odd, but we get to see a lot of Samuel sort of being very careful with the Doomslayer sarcophagus and in general treating him with quite a high respect while in hell. It is an interesting part of the game to see for sure, but this is still intertwined with a lot of the arena shooting, and here it can be its worst because there is so many tight corners and things to stop you from moving that damn, I just kind of don't like this level. It's fun, but the later half of hell is definitely more enjoyable than this beginning piece. But it's here that we get to see a cutscene with Samuel looking over the Doomslayer sarcophagus before we exit hell. The next level is the Destroyed Argent facility, where our goal for this level is very simple. We just need to get to the other side of the laboratory and break into Olivia Pierce's labs, which is called the Lazarus Labs. So we fight our way through a huge horde of demons and make our way to the tram and then get it to the...
It's time we meet in person. My office is on the second floor of this facility.
But just before we can get to Lazarus, we have to go to the Advanced Research Facility. Now, this level is important because this is the level where you get the big fucking gun. Now, the BFG in this game is absolutely amazing, and you're going to see a couple of glitches that you can do with it a little bit later, but it's really cool in this game. You do a couple of things to get it, and I will admit I died here a few times more than I would have liked, but, you know, that happens. The level itself is pretty fun, just sort of a vertical run through, find the BFG sort of thing and solve a few puzzles. There's a few more lore drops that you get with Samuel Hayden, and it's quite interesting. Now equipped with the BFG in hand, your mission is to disable the Helix Stone. You need to do this by entering the Lazarus Labs and fighting through hordes of monsters. So, as you do, you beat your way through the Lazarus Labs all the way to the very end, killing through hordes upon hordes of monsters till you reach Olivia Pierce's office. It's at this part of the game, after disabling the stone, you get to really see just how into the occult this evil witch woman was. She has everything dedicated to her in these offices. We have huge, disgusting bloody corpses and hell sigils all over the wall. After fully shutting down the Helix Stone and seeing her labs, we get a vision of the Crucible, a weapon that will be super useful later on in Doom Eternal, but for now it is something that we need to go and get for Samuel Hayden. Shall we shut down the Helix Stone and fight our way outside of the offices and make our way towards hell, because we need to defeat a brand new enemy. But I think it's time for another episode of Humiliating the Cyber Demon. Putting down the Cyber Demon really isn't that difficult, but for me it also wasn't that easy either. Anyway, after your first round of the Cyber Demon, you will rip out its Argent core from a glory gun. Throwing this away will send you down to hell, where it's up for round 2. But after kicking the shit out of him and using the slow down glitch, which is to shoot a BFG bolt and then hold down your weapon to slow down time, which still ticks damage, he'll go down pretty easily after that. Cyberdemon is dead, and you are now in Hell. Specifically, in the Titan's realm, where your next goal is to get to the Titan's core. Now, this next section of game is arena after arena after arena after arena, and while it is particularly beautiful, these tight corners do amp up the challenge a good bit, which by this point in the game, you sure as hell would be powerful enough. You'll notice I'm pretty, against using the BFG a lot in these sorts of parts of gameplay. That's just because I don't typically like using it myself, but for story purposes, you probably should be using the BFG here to make the game easier. I just typically like to save it for boss fights. But yeah, you fight through the Titan's realm and make your way all the way to the Titan's core, where you are teleported to the Necropolis to continue your challenge of trying to find the Crucible. You are now here to reclaim the Crucible, so you must fight your way through the Necropolis, where at the end of your long and arduous journey of fighting all the way through the Necropolis, you will find the Crucible. But it is guarded by a worm piloting a rock mech suit. This is a Hellguard, so let's kick its fucking ass, shall we? Now you reclaim the Crucible, and with it in hand, the Night Guards reappear. It's been ages since the Doom guy's seen them. We find this out from the lore in-game, and you are tethered back to the UAC's Vega core, where you must shut down Vega by destroying 4 coolants and his overall memory. Now, this mission is a bit of a slog as well. It's another massively arena-based mission, but it's just the amount of monsters that they throw at you in a single room can get overwhelming at times, and the amount of times that I died to Pinkies in this level was really fucking annoying. I love this game and I love its designs, and I'll talk about that more later, but here specifically in this level, it really brought me some shit, because sometimes the game's whole design philosophy is let's just shove as many difficult monsters as once possible into a single room and throw them all at the player and hope that they die from it, and that's what happens. I'm playing on Hurt Me Plenty, which is the medium difficulty, and I fucking hate this thing. I can't imagine what it's like on Ultra Violence. Just before destroying Vega's core, the Doom guy makes a backup of him, which is one of the first noble things we've seen him do the entire game that's not just ripping the guts out of monsters. You explode Vega's core. This is to send you to Argent de Nur, which is hell, wherein which you must charge the Crucible on the Wraiths. Again, another massive arena challenge. And as you fight your way through Argent de Nur, you reach her, Olivia Pierce, bitch of all Mars.
They promised me so much.
This thing, one of the most horrific fucking things I've ever seen in my entire life. But yet again, the BFG glitch works. So we fire a few rockets at her head, use the BFG bolts, half her down to her health, and finish her off with a couple of Gauss cannon shots, and get that sweet, sweet glory kill. Finally finishing the game. But it's here that Samuel Hayden has gotten exactly what he wanted. You have charged the Crucible for him. And, well, it's nothing personal, kid.
You've won. It's over. You stopped the invasion and closed the portal. But it's come at a price. Argent, Vega, this entire operation. You see, I've watched you work. Come to understand your motivation. You think the only way is to kill them all, leave nothing behind. And you may be right. But we can't just shut it all down. Without Argent energy, it will be worse. I don't expect you to agree. But with this, we can continue our work. I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice.
Rerouting tether coordinates complete.
Our time is up. I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way. Until we see each other again.
That was Doom 2016, and if you ask me, it's one of the greatest games ever made. The mix of combat and how good it feels to destroy things with not only the game's animations, but its gunplay. I've neglected to mention half the guns in this game. That's purely because, as from my gameplay you will see, I mostly just use the super shotgun because there's not much of a reason in Doom 2016 to not use the super shotgun. But in Eternal, there is massive reasons to not do that. This game is absolutely incredible, from its art and design to the way it actually feels and controls to every level design. It is one of the best games I have ever played in my entire life, and I absolutely love it. To say that it is one of my favourite games ever is an understatement. I bought the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition because I had played 2016 beforehand and thought it was so good that I was willing to spend a whopping £200 and something UK money on the Collector's Edition for Eternal, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made. That's not to say that Doom Eternal hasn't got its downsides. The two biggest ones for me are that it doesn't have cross-save and that they removed the Invasions mode. Those two were going to be really cool, and they don't have them anymore, so it makes the game just overall more annoying to play. And in the case of Invasions, it's just a stripped feature that they promised for ages, which is really depressing. In conclusion, I think this game is absolutely wonderful, and there are a few key reasons for that. To demonstrate, let's look at the three bosses of the game. We have the Cyber Demon, the Hellguard, and the Mastermind. Now, these guys follow the same kind of design philosophy, even if it doesn't look like they do. Here we can see that they are all creatures that are in some way tech-based and demon-based. This is a big theme of 2016, is that the monsters are usually both tech or hell-based. Sometimes with demons like the Imp, it's just completely hell-based, but then most of the monsters in here are both tech-based. You've got the Mancubus and others. This gets further in Doom Eternal, but we will talk about that when we get to that. The Cyber Demon himself looks absolutely incredible. He has a giant gun on his arm, which was originally going to be the BFG, which we steal in the game, which is just an incredible fact that you can find within the codex. Speaking of the game's codex, it's a really cool function. I don't use it much in this video to show you a lot of information, but if you buy the game, you can fill this out and have a look in there. There is so much information that's really cool that really adapts the lore of this game into a much more readable version, literally and figuratively. Number 2 is the gameplay and punchiness of the weapons. This is a massive key aspect of the game that is often overlooked when I think about the game, because I don't really think too heavily about the gunplay because it's just so good I naturally slip into it, but damn are these guns fucking good. The super shotgun feels like a fucking truck smashing into an enemy at full force, and that is felt by the punchiness of the controls and the feeling on screen through animations and sound. The sound design in this game is absolutely incredible, and in fact leads us into the next part of what I want to talk about. The game's music is absolutely fucking nuts. It was made by Mick Gordon. This motherfucker could play an angel and use his vocal cords to make the biggest and best choir you've ever heard in your entire life through nothing more than breathing lightly into the hole that was made. That is to say, his music is absolutely amazing and is sorely, sorely missed throughout all of Eternal. We will talk about that when I cover Eternal, but it is a big issue with Eternal, is that I feel like the music is just not as good and not as memorable. There are a few tracks that are pretty good in there, but it's usually because they were developed by Mick Gordon. So, yeah. But this game is an all Mick Gordon soundtrack, and fuck is it good. Here are a couple of tracks that I think are the most standout. We're going to listen to Mastermind, Rip and Tear, and At Doom's Gate. Now, talking specifically on At Doom's Gate, it's an adaptation of an old track that has been adapted before already, but take a listen to these 3 different versions. They all sound incredible, but Mick Gordon's version just carries this heavy dramatic weight to it that is carried over in Eternal, which again, we will speak on the music in Eternal when I get to Eternal. It will happen, guys, don't worry. Though the music is such a core identity to this game because it makes you feel invincible, and all 3 things combined, the gunplay, the art, and the music, make this game the most amazing power fantasy you can have ever. Never before have I wanted to be in the boots of a demon-killing demigod like the Doom guy, but fuck damn does the Doomslayer make me wanna fucking do it. It's so cool, and I can't wait for Dark Ages, which for me comes out in 2 days, so I'm super fucking excited. There'll be a stream the day it's out at 12 AM UK time. But in conclusion, I really love this game. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's one of the best games ever made, and as I've said before, it is my favourite game. Not of all time, but it is my favourite game in the shooter. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it to this part of the video, that means that you really fucking enjoyed this video. And if you did really fucking enjoy this video, please, for the love of God, subscribe. I'm desperate to get to 500 subs by the end of the year. And if you did make it this far, that means you like me and my content. There's similar content to this on the channel, not as in-depth, but there is similar content. I would recommend a few of the recommended videos that are in the top of the channel's banner. They are pretty good, and the ones that I consider to be the best I've ever made. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye bye!